to love one another, pray for one another, because that's our purpose on this planet. Pray. Pray to keep us. In the book of Obadiah, it said something very profound. And I want to read a little bit of it for you as I come in. And it says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto you. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy hill, mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Ye they shall drink." Okay? And today my topic is a new level of safety awareness needed. A new level of safety awareness. Friends, family, do not take your life for granted, because life belongs to God. It doesn't belong to anyone else. And don't take anybody's life because you don't want justice from our Creator, even though He loves us. And He went on the cross for us. For many who don't want to believe that anymore, you are welcome to your belief. But this is my belief. So, and this is my opinion on the program I've created called Community Dateline on Jam FM. So, having said that, I want to go into this idea of a new level of safety awareness is needed. I get reports on missing people. And I'm saying it every day because it is happening every single day that we woken up, and we're here on this planet. Everywhere in the world, there's pain and suffering happening to another human being. Whether it's because people are selfish, self-centered, whether we call it racism, underprivilege, all of these things, undeserved or deserved. Human beings, we use our mouth gates and say a lot of things. But let me talk to you today about a new level of safety awareness needed. Okay? We have to justify a lot of things that has not been justified in our community because we don't talk up. We just sit, we accept things as we see it, and it happens. Okay? We take it for granted. The children in our schools, if the teacher said it, they're suffering with this, that, and the other. We say, yes, 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 yes. And we just follow along. Yes, you can follow along, but you got to see what the results are. Is it working for you? Is it working for the child? And remember, I had someone on my program on Wednesday, and she spoke about what? She had problems with her children. And she went and she got the help. And we should all get the help that we need and not be ashamed as a people to ask for help and say thank you at the end of it. Because along life's way, there are things and people that some of us spend our lifetime, observing, training into projects, scientific and otherwise, human suffering, the results of poverty, so that you and I can live a better life. So don't be ashamed to go out and get it. I was reading a website last night where someone, she's asking for help for her son because she cannot cope with him anymore. She's kept that down for so long, his behaviors. She wants to move to another province, one said to me, well, not to me, but on the thing talking to us. So we have to be aware, our level of safety awareness. If the children are doing things that you know very well is not normal, why are you ashamed to go and get help? So you could nip it at the butt, excuse the language, but you nip it at its entrance so that it doesn't continue. And the child will realize that they're getting something better for themselves because they're being trained now to accept the fact that you just can't do some things, or you suffer with something, and we have to go slowly so that you can eventually, at the end of the day, succeed, because success is there for each and every one of us, you know. So why aren't we looking at success? So Don Pierre and Bonnet, I have called upon Dr. Pierre to look into the global, data for Africans, the enslaved. They always say slaves, but we're not slaves. We were enslaved. We were taken by force, our ancestors, and without enumeration. And people feel good about it. Oh, let's forget about it. How could you forget about what you were supposed to do and what you would like to be done to yourself? You can't forget that. And today, with all the issues that the children in school, the pipelines they try to push them into, et cetera, because the minute they say boo, I'm going to call this one to who? Okay, these are how we go, as human beings. So we put ourselves into human hierarchies, and it's in every country of the world. This one, the one from the ghetto, the one from the backyard, the one from this, and one from that, and one from the other. What we have to realize is that we're all human beings and created by someone that you and I haven't seen as yet. His name is God. And some people have seen him in the beginning of time. Adam spoke with him in the cool of the garden. And Eve knew about him. And the Queen of Sheba traveled all the way to hear about him. So what's happening to us today? We are so overeducated, over smart, over everything, over the top of our heads, that we forget the old things. That will always be the new things, just a different version called automation. We have natives here. I heard my prime minister talking this morning, and he was talking about, different types of innovation, et cetera, et cetera. But my whole thing was, we live in a land that belongs to the indigenous people, and we are on the land of the Mississaugas of the Credit, which is the Credit River, and to acknowledge them. This is what I'm doing right now, because this is their land, and their land is treated by Queen Elizabeth, because they're the first ones that came exploring around, from the first explorers. So here we go. So they know that they're not on their own land. And why should the natives give up their land to anyone? When you give up your land, you give up your citizenship, you give up your ID. When you accept someone else's land, you accept the ID, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So let us talk about safety. What are you doing? What are you adding to the plate so that we can be safe? I'm a senior now. I have children, I have grandchildren. You who are watching me, you who are hearing me, know you have family, you have friends and loved ones. Something happened to them. The type of sadness goes through us. And then we open our markets and we just start labeling all the different people that are not good, and they're contributing. But you know what? We have to go to the root cause of all of this. If everyone is provided with the right opportunities on a level playing field, we would not have the system of issues that we have. There wouldn't be a prison pipeline. There wouldn't be issues in the school, because when we don't want to adhere to the things that are right, we create things that we find pleasing to us. And that is how we live. So let us talk our safety awareness. Everybody's complaining about racism. Every one of us has done something racist to somebody else. So what are we complaining about? Change yourself, you change the world. That's the thing. I remember when Trinidad and Tobago was having its elections. Oh my gosh. I went on their pages. Oh my goodness. What a people. Indentured laborers that came in after the Africans were enslaved and abolished to work were calling their brothers and sisters from another nation names, derogatory names, including the prime minister. You know, we have no self-respect. That's why we can't respect the people out there. And I say it from my point of view. Just remember, these are my opinions. You know, and looking at it, and at my age, I have the wisdom to understand what's missing, what's necessary, and what we can do. We can all change. But selfishness, does the gardener and the roads in Ontario have to be so crowded? No. But when everybody have a vehicle and nobody wants to ride with the other one because, hey, you know, we have all those self-pride, whatever, those, you know, levels, you know, levels of isms and schisms. And we go into all these things. Think about it. We open a business and we only want ourselves inside a day. Nobody else can come in. And we wouldn't even go to the other people's. Some of us don't go to others' businesses. We don't support one another because, you know, we behave as we are specific and special human being put aside in a corner. You know what? We're all the same. When you get beyond this outer skin, whatever color it is, inside, everything is there. When you go for surgery and you have a kidney or whatever replaced, you don't know whose you're getting. Think about life in little measure, and we will understand as human beings that we're doing something that is causing us our own way to go into ourselves and create all this burden. And I'm not carrying anybody's burden for them, only mine. Okay? So when I evaluate myself, I see what's missing. And if you evaluate me and see something missing, please pray about it. So the good Lord will change it because he's able to do everything and anything if we ask him. Okay? So thank you for that if you find something wrong. So when we collect this data, it will be one of the most beautiful things that's going to happen to countries around the world. Because we will start seeing what is happening. How are we collecting the data? Are we collecting it on crime? Are we collecting it on the criminal element? Or are we just collecting it on a nation of people? What is the most heinous crime? What is the population? What's the percentage? What's the everyday crime? What is this percentage? How it has to be quantified in order to address it. We just jump on the news and say, oh, John killed somebody and he happens to be black, and you know, we stop saying those things because of racism, anti-racism legislation now. But before, they throw the picture up and they give the whole 9 yards of ID. Is it quantitative? Does it reflect the population? So we need to re-engineer the engineering of humanity. We need to refocus on what is necessary for each and every one of us. And I should have called to see Lady Genesis, one of the founders, and the eventual owner, which is Sister Abby, was available to talk about some of the safety especially as she's attending university, and I wasn't sure but I'm not sure she's off, but anyway, but that's water under the bridge. And if she wants to come in, if Brother John has a time and he wants to pop in and say something about it, fine. The numbers, most of you know the numbers to get in. So what is safety like in your neighborhood? What are your members of parliament, your councillors, and your members of the provincial parliament doing about it? How are they addressing the issues that surround your neighborhood? Is it a high surveillance in your neighborhood? And what do they do with all the things that they collect? We need to find out what's happening in our neighborhoods and how we can, go into it and find out what is missing. If all these people that are getting into problems had jobs and job training, from the prisons right back, we need to start job preparing people to re-enter into society. And I wrote a program to create a program years ago. I'm not talking today, years ago. Those are the days when I was able to involve in writing, letters to the wardens, etc., for persons that have been released into society. And I got that through someone who is in probations. But we have to figure it out. It's not just he don't have an education or she doesn't have an education or they, but what are we doing? If you send someone to prison once and you have to send them twice, why would you have them there a third time without ensuring that while they're outside that they must do this, that, and the other? Because in order to function, when we have done all that we can, then, but having a criminal record is not just a nice thing for anyone to have, and it's not a nice thing to be put on someone when there are other alternatives. Because now you're creating a criminal element that's, more structured and destructive. And I heard from one young man way back, and he says, when you go to prison, you learn everything you need to learn to come back on the streets. What's happening there? What is happening in our prison system? What are they getting? It's not an easy thing. I've been to the big house visiting people. And in Milton, prior to Milton, it was in North York, Etobicoke, our safety is important. We shouldn't have to have police on the subways, policing people. Because we will be able, when we have the right data, the data has to be broken down also. While it's quantitative, it has to be broken down. Because the stresses of life alone, when I think of stress, you know what I think of? I think of the native people in the 60s, when I saw them in old Toronto. Like when Toronto on the lakefront was all shacks, little old shacks that are ready to tumble over into the water, I go way back to those times when I'm thinking of something today. It's important and it's imperative that we talk about safety. Is your child safe on the school bus? Is the child safe on the cell phone? Is your child safe on their iPads? Think about that. Who is trying to lure them out there? with the amount of people that are missing, it's frightening. Imagine a patient leave a hospital, but nobody saw him. Or is it that we've reached that point where we don't even care? Is our thinking strained to the point that we see it, but we don't see it? How are we looking at life? I have such a great concern about humanity's well-being, wellness, and myself. So I'm not selfish with my thoughts. I'm just bringing them out. So today, if you're watching, you're listening, and something is burdening your heart concerning humanity, let's hear about it. When I look at refugees, I look at them in many ways. A lot of people come in as refugees, and later down the road, they forgot that they've gotten a level of convenience, a life of convenience, a life of less stress. And then they turn on the newcomers, they turn on everybody else, people, these things happen. It's crazy, but it's happened. It has happened. People meet you and they say to you a lot of nonsense. I've been to places, I've been to pharmacies where people say, I need your full ID in order to give you a prescription. Where did you get that from? Authority should never be abused in any way, in any form. What are we doing to one another? Are we bringing our habits with us? Are we trying to segregate ourselves? As segregation has been a long time over us all, So we have to have a better world going into into these millennium years, these last years of the Gentile age. What are you doing? Are you trying to stress the next person because you have the ability to do it? Oh, well, we have to examine ourselves individually and collectively as to who we are as a human being in a world of nations. Okay? A human race that's made up of many nations. Where are we? Where are we? Do you just pray for yourself and your own nation or your own people? Or you pray for all of your friends when you get up in the morning? Do you lift them up? Do you have them in your thoughts? For those who don't pray, how is your thoughts going? Is it going in the right positive direction? Is positivity going for humanity? Or is it just going for some? Those, when the rest is okay, it's all right, it's not your business. Are we our brother's keeper, like the last program said, that I did on Wednesday, sorry. Are we our brother's keeper? Are we here to serve and protect? Are we leaders that will lead, not by race, but by example? Yeah, we share our cultural values. But how receptive are we to the other person's culture? Do you embrace others? It's all these areas. Are you able to live with people that are not from your cultural background and your cultural customs? This is why we get burdened with things that people, in their factions create and fight for. But are we supposed to be like that? Or are we supposed to be a people that can live together in peace, create peace, understand what peace is all about, create it? You remember when we had Black Lives Matter? Half of the people that went on to jumping in Black Lives Matter all over the world after George Floyd, guess what? Where are they now? Hello, out there, Oh yes, they. What matters? What matters? Now I'm seeing everybody have a matter. Even though the courts were the first ones that had matters. It's your matter, when you have a case in the court. But now the matters are all over the world. Everybody has a matter. This matter, that matter, the other matter. But you know what matter? Being a good human being matters. Being an involved human being with one another, with humanity as a whole, but not as a divided pie, matters. It's like the continent of Africa. All the countries in Europe took a piece, like it was pie sharing in the sky. And the people did not matter. So let's use the matter where it's supposed to be used. They didn't matter because they had this huge, vast land and why? They're not the same color as I am, and therefore I could have peace with it. They don't speak my language, and therefore we are better than them. These are some of the things. Humanity is crazy when you think about them. For me, it's crazy. My opinion, again, as I say, it's me talking now. The things that we do makes your head spin, round and round and round and round. So let us look at the things that we are doing as human beings. Stop complaining. When you look at social media today and you see how people respond, the disrespect for another human being, whether he's a leader or he is the one washing your feet or the one washing the floor, we should have respect. His job is dignified more than you. Because would you go down on your knees and wash his feet? Who's washing your feet? Think about it. So are we all up there with, and you can't reach up to the top of the shelf to pull on what you put up? So we have to re-examine ourselves on a personal basis as to what we're about. People can express themselves in many, many ways. It's not just your opinion that counts or mine. We can also, many people can say the same thing. Same things and mean the same thing. It's how you express yourself. At the end of the day, you both reach the same junction. So therefore you can function together. And that's the kind of boardroom I love to sit in. When we say, hey, meet me at such and such a junction. And you know what? Someone comes from the west, this comes from the north, one comes from the east, this one comes from the north, south, north, depending on the proximity and where they live, they either little east, little west, little north, or little south. So it's not definite. Is the road straight? Okay. Are all the hairs in your head and going in the same direction, from the same direction? When a tree is planted, where are the roots going? Wow. The bird builds a nest with many different pieces of wood, sticks, leaves, etc. Fur. When we look at nature, nature tells you who you are and how complementary you can be. because you can mix into the blend of what our Creator intended for you and I. How he intended. So let's go back. Are we creating safe spaces? I know a lot of our land is being taken to build millions of houses, but in the meantime, we have millions of houses that are empty. What are we doing about the empty houses? We all want to go up there with the price. I remember I had a condo and it was sold for more than double that it was years ago, when the first wave of immigrants came into Canada in the 70s, the mid 70s, and 80s. It's crazy. 5 people are fighting for one place, and everybody wants to put 5, 6, 7,000. Why are you gambling over a home? Place that you're going to have rest in. How satisfied are you when you realize, well, I'm the highest bidder, I put the most money. Could you sleep comfortably? Oh, well, I pay the highest amount of money. What does the highest amount of money mean? It's the same house. You just spent a lot more because you want to prove to yourself that you have more money to cause it to rise up. And it's only money, remember? The money I made doesn't just sit there and got larger and larger, even with an investment, because remember, economy fell up and down. So when we're thinking of finances and we're thinking about all these things, safety, what are we rushing for? There's safety in everything that we do. There's awareness in everything that you do, okay? And you'll have to look at the levels to which it's all there. In caring, there's a level that we should start at, in crime, there's a level of crime. Do we have the right figures in the right neighborhood? Or are we making the small issues the greatest issues and running over, jumping over, jumping over the real level of what's taking place? So, because if a child take a candy and end up in trouble, and a grown-up make an invasion, even though it's one house, it's a lot more. Are we looking at it in the right light, with the right eyes? Well, I think we should all just sit, reflect. And when I say sit quietly. Don't fidget. Think about what it is and sit down quietly. And let the Creator put into you the wisdom of his knowledge and his understanding, so that you will learn to understand and appreciate what it meant to be a citizen of Earth. That rare opportunity that some came and died right away. Some, before they even left the womb, they were gone. They didn't have the opportunity to see the sun rise, the sunset, to hear the birds, see the wild animals. And as we speak, we've got on the patio here, I got me a raccoon. He's as big as a baby teddy bear. And guess what? He's not afraid of sitting down there while I'm saying, what are you doing here? If I knock on the window, he just look at me as though, well, hey, girl, I'm from nature. And this is just a little place that you have out there. In some places, they take their guns and they will shoot. They will shoot you as a human being because you came to the wrong house at the wrong time in the wrong neighborhood. And the good word says, everything in the heavens and the earth is mine. That's what our Creator said. It says, it's just lent to us. You realize that? Everything we have on this earth is lent. Lent. It's a loan to us. You know why? Because we do not hold the key to life. But we have a heart that we can embrace and put it in tune and follow the instructions like everything else to have that life eternally. So I'm grateful that wisdom has been my teacher, and wisdom from my grandfather, my mother, my grandmother, elder uncles at the time, you know. I saw them as like old people, same way a lot of them are seeing me today as an old woman. But you know, this is a very happy, excited woman, old woman, who loves life and who's looking forward to the life after, because I know it's going to be way sweeter than what it is now. So, having said that, safety, our police officers, our firemen, so many fires, so many things, kidnappings, violence, arguments over the land that you got to die and leave, leadership isms and schisms. When I look at Eglinton Avenue, from what it is now to what it was, what's my expression? It's a shame. And all the excuses and all the isms and schisms makes me think, being a leader, you really have to have your integrity always in the forefront. Carry it in your hand. It's the car keys. It's the key to your house. It goes with honesty. It goes with all the different things. When I look at the Garden Expressway, as a young girl driving along the garden, along the lakeshore, etc., because I live in the east, I live in the west, I live downtown. You know, I always, at the back of my mind is, are we grateful for the opportunity? Now I look at the mayoral candidates. Look how many. Why? The only way is to put your money where your mouth is. But guess what? Even if they put the money, they would not put the money, because sometimes, you know, we live in such a time, you know, knowing what time it is important. Knowing what time it is, it's important. Because the word tells us what time it is and what's taking place in this time. So irregardless of what anyone says, any human being says, any one of us say, right? There is a structure that was put together before you and I were even fully created. Before that first human being, that whole structure was already in place, including our mindsets, you know. But like I say, keep safe. These are the times you look over your shoulder, you look behind your back. And if you feel like your back feel like something, you can put your hand to make sure that you know what it is. And my key today for everyone and anyone Just like in COVID time, so many of us went down on our knees, we beg and we bawl and we cry and we did all, we scream out and we call upon God. Our hands were up, our hands, knees were down, our minds were, it's a place that we shouldn't have to run to in an emergency. It should be a place that is normal, natural, and available to each and every one of us. If you don't like the door, pass it. Pass it by. It's not for everyone, and it was meant for everyone, but not everyone wants to go through that door. So, you who know about the door, utilize it. It is a key. For you who don't know what it is, ask someone else about it. They may be able to give you the answer. You never know. For me, let me tell you my key. My key is pray. Pray, smile, good morning, good evening. Do you need some help? You see someone coming and they need your help. I'm not old enough to help someone younger, stronger, because I've been there. And as a matter of fact, during my journey, many people helped me along the way. They kept me safe. They kept me aware of what's my surroundings, how to maneuver and paddle through life. And that's from the day I was put in my mother's womb until the present day, until I go. And along that way, it's like a chain. See, every link has a story behind it. Every link tells you about a situation. It's like when I wanted to get a place where I am today, there was a link on the chain. Okay. We need to know what our links are and be grateful for them and be thankful for the time and the opportunity that is spent on that particular link. So all my links has a time, a purpose, and a story. I don't abuse them because I know what it is to have a link. Do you have a link? Someone who you can pray with? That can pray with you and there's no stories. You will not hear the story that I prayed for you yesterday. No. You gotta be able to have that sweet communion with yourself and someone else out there, so that you'll be safe. Today I pray for all seniors. And I pray for young children. You know why? There's a lot of predators out there. Lots of predators of various kinds. And for all the predators out there, I pray for them, that they will be found. They will be identified. Whether you're in a high place, middle ground, or low place, I pray for every predator out there. Because there's something in you that became unstable. Choice you made, place you've been, something that happened to you. I pray for you. So, as we wind going down this road this morning, I pray for our subways, east to west, north to south. Pray for all the buses and the trains. Pray for the cargo trains coming into our country from the United States, all the way from Vancouver right down. and back. Pray for all the tracks around our country. I pray for all the waterways that people come in illegally. I pray for their statuses, and I pray for the countries from whence they came, because there must be something that's been done that isn't right to cause the people to flee their countries. I didn't flee mine. I came to school. So, hence I'm here. When economics go down, what is your input? When you live in a warm place and there's hunger, what is the agricultural department doing? We say, oh, the soil is no good. The soil, God won't put no soil down here that is not good. Okay? You have to know what you have to put into it to get it the right way. Because if you see the trees around growing, the earth is pregnant. The earth has been pregnant since we came on it. We've had trees growing. When last you watered the forest? When last you filled the ocean with some water instead of taking? I am a naturist. I've always been a naturist because all forms of nature attracts me. It's beautiful to sit and just look at the trees and see the different leaves, you know, how they put the, you know, an avocado and a mango just a little way from it in the coconut trees here and there, you know, stuff like that. And when I'm up here, I look at the pine trees, you know, and I look at the beautiful lawns and stuff like that, you know, and we still get the water from the ocean. So who is providing water for you? But we say the ground it's not good. Yet it provides diamonds and precious stones. This world is more beautiful than you and I think. It's just that we're not seeing with the lens. Some of us are not seeing with the lens. But it's needed to see how beautiful it is. Our Prime Minister is out there with the G7 nations today. And, you know, Prime Minister Trudeau, my prayers over you. You're young and you are learned. You grew up in a home with a Prime Minister for this country, Canada. And therefore, it's nothing that you don't know about politics. Because when you grow up in a home where politics is being spoken, you will grasp a number of things. I grew up in a home, such a home. My grandfather was a politician. Way back in 1946. I wasn't even thought of, much more to be here. But the lessons he's taught me along life's way, I give God thanks for giving him the opportunity so that he will give me the knowledge and the understanding to continue. It's the same for Gem FM. Brother John comes on, he pleads with you. Minister Nataki comes on. She's in the background, mind you, on every single program. She's part of the tech. God bless her and strengthen her and open greater doors for them. Their daughter, Genesis, she's changed her vocation from medicine to broadcasting so that she can take command of Gem FM media. So that is what you call teaching your children to dream and showing them the dream and involving them in the dream. So get involved in the safety of our people, the safety of our nation. the safety of our neighborhoods. Let's try and mentor those who need mentoring. Because you know what? Mental illness is not today. I want to tell you that. Mental illness came a long time ago. Go back into the Bible. Mental illness is not today. All these things came from the beginning of time, but whatever, how it came about, it was written in the Word. It's all there. We have to go through many things, but we have to always be aware, prepared, and ready to be a united body called the human race. So let us look at safety from different lenses today. Be aware of safety from different lenses today. Okay? And if you notice someone that is lost, disoriented, or shouldn't be out there at that time, sometimes it's a small child. If you're on an airline and someone does that to you, it means they are sex traffic or trafficking for many other purposes. Okay, so look out for the signs. Oh, I'm looking for my slipper. Sorry about that. Look out for the signs and use those beautiful eyes that God has given you and all the lenses to find the things that will make our society a better one. You know, the Gentile age, which we are the Gentiles and we are in the Gentile age, and it's closing. So be part of that closing in a positive way. Be alert, be kind, be strong, be loving, be caring, be giving, be understanding. And always say thank you. Give thanks. Give thanks all the time. Because we are not of our own. We've got a big, big Father up there who guides us along life's way. And you know what he does? He takes people like me. He puts us in places to test me. He takes me out of my comfort zone and put me in places so that I can become more alert, more aware, more concerned. And those are called the test. So when he tests me, I go along with my test. And I do it, you know how? Peacefully. Because there's always a greater good at the end of the day. He graces me with his presence. He blesses me unconditionally. So today, as I am going, it's 11:28. And like I said, keep Minister Merle and her family in prayer. You do not have to know what is the problem or the issue or the concern. She just asked for prayer. And also pray for me. I'm God's child. Pray for me. And pray for my Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Because it's not just the electorate that put him there, but God has put him there. So when he anoints him to be there, we pray for that anointing to reflect whatever he does for his Father, because he too have to give an account. So let justice ring 7/24 and 24/7 in your life. Let peace ring and love, and always, always, no matter what, be grateful and thankful. It's important. It's imperative. So with that, I leave you with a thought. Who is he that is in you? He's greater than all there is. Go into that space and give thanks. Okay, have a great day and blessings. And don't forget to be aware. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Keep your thoughts and let somebody know about what's happening if you see something that is not right. Doesn't matter whether you're driving, riding, flying, sitting, or whatever you're doing. Even if you dream it, bring it out. Have a great day, people. Bye for now. And this is Nataki, Brother John, and the whole Gem FM team. All the programs, blessings. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday, the first day of May. Bye for now. Love you guys.